And again, here we are with no intro. What the?
Technology. Love it.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bob, the Rocket City Reseller, and StreamYard hates me if you haven't heard. So unprofessional, Tim. We have a special
Listen,
guest.
it's okay. It's okay. You got me on, so
I
most
mean,
people would say I'm probably not very professional, but
I feel like I've
do my
arrived.
best.
I'm gonna feel like I've arrived. All right, because I have Tim over the years. I mean, it's a thing. Tim, we consider ourselves the mission control for all things reselling. That's how we frame this podcast. And we're trying to do a few things here. We're trying to be a voice for some of the resellers that are just coming up and learning. We're trying to do that and be partners in the community of practice, if you will, and try to like move the needle for a lot of families that might be struggling regarding financial, goals. So that's kind of where we're coming from this year in our podcast. It's a new podcast. We started in January. I get to do this thing with Tennessee Treasures, Ellie, and I also get to do this with She Shed 244, Ashley. Some really good friends I met on the Whatnot Trail. So I met a lot of great people in reselling, and I get to meet one more great person in Tim over the years. Let's talk about, I'm going to give you a little bit of an intro. All right. I've been practicing. Hopefully I remember everything. All right. So Tim over the years reselling. Tim over the years sports. Awthentik and The Beard. Reseller Information Network. And no bangers.
Yes.
Did I miss anything, Tim?
I think that's everything. Oh yes, no, that's everything. That's everything. you had me double thinking. I had to double check.
This is what we like to call prolific.
Yeah, I do have my hand in a lot of cookie jars. I do love cookies too, by the way. I'm a big cookie guy.
Well, I heard you say something on I think it was No Bangers. You said something, or no, it was Reseller Information Network. You mentioned something about food.
Yes. Oh yes.
We'll get there in a second.
I have a food page also called Married with an Appetite.
There you go.
And so we just started that on Facebook, and on Instagram somebody already had that, so it's Married with an Appetito. So my wife is half Dominican, so it's a lot of Dominican food on there.
Sub.
Yeah. I'm a huge like, I love food, so like there might be random times throughout the podcast where I talk about food, so just that's a fair warning right there.
I'm surprisingly okay with this.
Yeah.
I think we're all good with that.
Yeah, I literally walked down. So like I just moved and I walked down the street and there's like a nice little Latin market down there. I went down there and we picked up a bag of plantains, came back home and made some tostones. So it's I can't hear you, Ellie.
Yeah, we can't hear you. No audio. So Ellie's just like, my people. I'm ad-libbing.
But yeah, that's so I did just recently start that page too. But yeah, I do all of those things. And it's a lot. And obviously, like, as far as content creation goes, I'm kind of like, my main picking channel is the one thing that I have kind of let fall off a little bit, but like I have like 3 hard drives of footage. And so we just moved, the boy just turned 1. So like now I'm kind of like getting close to like getting that channel off the ground again. What's crazy is I got an email yesterday and they were like, congratulations on 6,000 subscribers. I'm like, what? And then I went and I looked and I realized that I put out a short of me finding these uranium glass mugs at the thrift store, and it's like got like 38,000 views and like a massive amount of subscribers from that short. So I was like, okay, now I realize like I kind of got to go back and making some of those videos. I mean, I always record when I go to flea markets, yard sales and thrift stores and stuff like that, but it's just, it gets a little tough being consistent. So that's one of my big things I'm trying to work on moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. Now you're telling your main page, you're talking about over the years reselling, correct?
Yeah, over the years reselling my YouTube channel. I have over the years reselling YouTube, over the years sports YouTube. Those are like the 2 channels that I manage like by myself.
Right.
All the other stuff I kind of do with other people. And then I have TikToks and Facebooks and Instagrams for all of those as well. We just got monetized on Facebook for Over the Year Sports, which is pretty cool. That happened super fast. I was not expecting that. We were at 400 followers when we got monetized on Facebook for Over the Year Sports. And that was like a week and a half ago. And since then, now we're up to 1.1 thousand followers on that page. So it's like growing crazy fast right now.
I tell you, people love sports and all things sports teams. They're fanatics. So I can definitely see how that is doing well and trending well. It's actually, I think it's the top 3 sellers on eBay are either sports memorabilia or sports cards or something to that effect. So you didn't pick a bad category to be a specialist in for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because that happened way after like when I got into resale. I mean, I've always been a sports junkie, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. But like I didn't like really kind of dive into reselling sports cards like hardcore until like maybe a couple years ago. But like my main thing and like what most people in the reselling world know me for is for glass. So like,
yeah, it's one of those things that I was just like, so he's a spectrum. Like from glass, you wouldn't expect that right away, maybe from your sports content.
Trust me, I get that a lot. A lot of times people are like, you know, it's always funny when I'm out picking and people are like, I pick up a piece of glass and they like look at me. First, they're probably like, "Oh, this guy's gonna drop this," and then second, they want to like tell me all about it, and I'm like, I know all about it. Like, but like, please tell me because
I mean, you might learn something. You never
I will
know.
I will play dumb.
Oh, I do that all the time because it's interesting. I almost got into a little fisticuff once. We were picking. I can't remember where we were picking. It was either in West Virginia or in Virginia. I think we were in West Virginia. And I picked up this mug, and the guy started going off and trying to tell me that the mug was Fire King. And I was like, you know, well, and obviously politely, I was like, oh, no, this is actually Federal glass. He's like, no, it's Fire King. It's got an F on the bottom. And I'm like, dude, this is a Federal glass. This is an F inside of a shield. It is not Fire King. And like the guy was like super upset, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not gonna fight you, buddy. Yeah. You know, I wish I had it. Sometimes I'm really bad at this. Where like because editing is so like crazy, where you have to like, you know, you don't want to have to edit through so much footage. But like sometimes it's just like you just have to be recording at all times, right? Just because sometimes I miss stuff so much, and I'm just like, I get home and I'm like scrubbing through the footage, and I'm like, another thing I'm really bad at doing is like I press record thinking I'm recording, but I was already recording, so I stopped recording. And said like vice versa. So like sometimes I get home, I'm just like, oh my god, and it's just like me walking into a bathroom, and I'm just like, this is definitely not going to make it to the YouTube page.
That's hilarious. So Tim, let's rewind a bit and let's go back to the beginning, okay? So before Tim was a reseller, how many years have you been reselling? You know, what did that look like before you met your beautiful wife and all the things? Where was Tim then? How are you, you know?
So like, let's see where I want to start. Make this not like a whole, 3-hour movie here. But I was, I was an addict. So that's something I've always been pretty upfront about. In May 22nd, I will have 15 years clean.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So yeah, so I was kind of, on that path of I was either going to end up in jail or dead, basically. And I was a big guy too. I got up to like almost 300 pounds, which a lot of people don't like correspond with being an addict and being overweight, but
it happens a lot, actually.
It was that's kind of where it was. So that kind of was the beginning of the change for me. Obviously, I got clean, I got sober, and it was tough. I was homeless, and I lost a lot. I lost everything, but I found my way. And then, kind of got back in the good graces of my family and stuff like that. And I have a really good support group as far as friends and family go. So I'm very fortunate and blessed for that. And so as far as like going from that and kind of just working out in jobs, like I've worked in every industry you can imagine. I've had a government job. I've worked in the hair industry. I've worked in restaurant industry. I did interior design. You know, I've done a lot of different things. And it's interesting because all those things kind of, you know, come together and help you in reselling. And funny enough, you know, especially with like customer service, like, you know, like a lot of people complain a lot about, you know, customers in reselling, and I'm like, trust me, you don't know anything until like you've worked a Friday night shift at a French restaurant, or you've tried booking hairstylist on a Saturday. You know, like talk to me after you've dealt with those sort of people. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so like that's kind of, I did all that. But my mom and my father were both collectors and dealers when I was growing up. And my mom got fibromyalgia, so she doesn't move around as much as well as she used to. And she asked me, you know, I need you to help me get rid of all this stuff in the basement. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go over and I kind of like going through stuff and I start researching it. And I'm like, okay, I think the best way to do this at the time was Etsy. So I started off as an Etsy seller first before I did eBay. I sold thousands and thousands of items on Etsy. I don't sell on Etsy currently anymore. But at the time, Etsy's fees were the best, and it had a very strong vintage buying base. So I started kind of researching. I was like, damn, there's like a crazy market for this. And then like, I was like, went on YouTube, and there was like, I found people going to thrift stores, and I'm like, yo, this is wild. Like, so then I kind of like, and I'm a sucker for like knowledge and learning. So like I started like researching, and like I have thousands of books, right, on glass and primitives and silver and all this other stuff. Just all these books. And so like I just started like going like crazy, like deep diving. And then after that I started selling stuff. And then I was like, okay, there is actually like a legitimate market about this. And so then after that, I was like, I started going to yard sales and flea markets and thrift stores. And I just was like buying all types of crazy stuff. And obviously my buying methods have changed drastically over the years. You know, this was probably like 2018, like 2017, around that time.
So just barely before COVID,
Yeah. And so then I made my YouTube channel, and I didn't make my YouTube channel because I thought I was going to make money on YouTube. I was trying to get people to come to my Etsy shop. That's what made me start YouTube.
That's really smart, actually.
And so after that, the ball just kept rolling. And then eventually, like, I started meeting people through the reselling community. A lot of people who I'm still friends with to this day. And so that kind of made me start doing eBay. And then next thing you know, I was selling everything and on all the different platforms. And I just picking up stuff. And so vintage clothing I got into. And so that's just kind of like where it all started. And then in 2020, I was working at a restaurant, and it was like January, and the owner of the restaurant is really awesome guy. So like I'm bipolar also, and manic depressive and ADD, temporal lobe. And so like, the owner of the restaurant I was working at was also a lot of the same things I was. And he was like, and he owns his own winery, he makes his own wine, and restaurateur. And then he was like, he saw me like working at the restaurant and then doing all the reselling. He's like, you got to just do this full time. And then at the time, my wife now was my girlfriend, and I kind of was like ran it by her, and she was supportive of it. And so I just went full time. And then next thing you know, then like 2 weeks later, COVID hit. And so I was like full-time reseller, content creator, and here's COVID. So like it's been a tricky ride, and I'm like still to this day, every single day, I'm struggling with a lot as far as reselling goes, and I'm not where I want to be. But it's an adjust and adapt learning like constantly, because I'm never going to be one of those people who thinks they know everything. And I think that that's a good thing. You know, like with the way that I go about life is like if it was easy, like it wouldn't be make any sense, you know. So like now I'm kind of just like learning every single day, trying to do new things and stuff like that. And you know, live selling was a crazy point. Like a lot of things I do early and people think I'm crazy. So like, I was an early adapter on Whatnot. So I was on Whatnot maybe, it's been probably close to 7 years now.
You started with Cernock, right? Around
What's
the same
that?
time as
Yeah,
you started
me
around
and
the same time
Cernock.
as
So
Cernock. Yeah.
what happened was I was watching Pat McAfee, and Pat McAfee, the other guys on his show had a podcast called The Pod, and they were breaking sports cards and they were talking about Whatnot. I was like, what is Whatnot? So you know me, I went in, started doing like deep dive researching and stuff like that, and I hit up Cernock and Eric OBX Picker, and I'm like, bro, this is it, this is the wave, this is the future. And so we all put in our applications. Cernock got approved first. This is like early, so this is like a 6-month process, like 3 to 6 month process to get like onboarded. But at the time, I started off in the vintage clothing category. It was us. Like you pretty much could schedule a live, and there would be nobody else live at that time. People were kind of just scheduling lives around each other, and not at the same time. And so that was like, you know, that was when it was like dollar shipping and like, you know, like Whatnot has changed drastically. Obviously, it's not what it used to be, unfortunately. I think that. But, you know, like to get into that early was crazy. And people thought I was nuts. They were like, oh, this is a fad. And like, you know, nothing's going to come of this. And this is just Tim talking crazy again. And so, but yeah, so like that's kind of, and now obviously like I'm doing my own platforms as far as live selling goes. I still do a little bit of Whatnot. But yeah, that's kind of where my journey has been. It's been wild. It's been like a forever learning progress, but I'm still doing it and I'm still here, and you know, I've learned a lot and I'm still learning.
So what I hear when you tell me about your story is the ability to adapt and overcome. That doesn't come that's something that has to be learned over time. Some people it gets baked into them, but I think it's also a response to a lot of things. The body's response to trauma a lot of time can lead to that. Also, there are other ways to get there. The military will break you and make you again. That's how I learned it. Well, a little bit of both, maybe. I have a pretty interesting story myself, Tim, sometime. It's not for this podcast, but I can understand like how that has like impacted you, and the fact that you are so resilient speaks volumes about your character. Let me just tell you, and the fact that you keep showing up. If you fail fast and you fail forward. Those are all the things that we've talked about on this podcast over the past couple months. The ability to do that and iterate and continue to move forward are the keys to success. You know, with every blessing, there's a burden that's tied to it. A lot of times we don't realize that, you know.
It's tough because reselling is like it's not for everybody, you know what I'm saying? And content creation too. Like content creation is it's like tough. All of it is super tough. And you know, there's a lot of things you gotta have. Like you gotta have thick skin. You got to have good people in your corner too. Whether it's your family and your friends, you know, people who support you. And you have to have like there's a certain level of stubbornness, and there are times when I am stubborn, but like I come around. I'll give you a good example with all the AI listing stuff. Like I like AI, right? I think AI is useful, obviously. But like I'm, you know, like there's a part of me that is like still like, if I could, I would still read the newspaper, right? Like I'm like I'm kind of an old
tangible.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm kind of an old school guy, right? But like a lot of me is still new school too. Like I was, you know, into NFTs and stuff like that, and you know, digital collectibles, right? But like I was very reluctant to try. Like a lot of people I know were trying List Easier, and like I sell so much one-offs, right? Like I don't do a lot of bulk, and I'm just like, it ain't for me, you know, like, and then I just came around and I was like, man, I'm going to try this. So like, I just started trying that. And like, now I'm kind of doing that. And it's like, those are the sort of things that you have to be able to do, right? There's certain things I'm going to be stubborn on, right? Like I don't accept returns. All right. That's just going. I'm gonna be laid out there right now. Like most resellers look at me like I'm crazy, right? When I say that, I mean I am crazy, right? But I do not accept returns. Like I just don't. And they're like, oh, well, everybody accepts returns, and they're gonna file an INAD, and they're gonna force you to accept return. I'm like that. It don't work. It just doesn't happen with me. Knock on wood. You know, like I'm very thorough to make sure that I don't fall into an INAT, but I do not accept returns. I don't accept returns. It's just something I don't do. So like I'm gonna be stubborn on that, and like I'll never do free shipping. Like that's just something I don't do, except for when I'm doing live streaming on Dibdit and Dibdit cards. We have progressive shipping, which is like one of the best tools when it comes to live selling out there, and I think is one of the biggest things that obviously separates us from Whatnot. Because like if you go live on Whatnot and you go live at 9 o'clock on Tuesday, right, and then you go live again on 9 o'clock on Wednesday, everybody who buys from you on Tuesday has to pay shipping all over again on Wednesday, right? Yeah. So like I go live and you buy one thing from me, and then for cards, it's a little bit different with like hard goods and stuff like that, but with cards, you pay shipping one time, and everything else after that for the next 7 days is free shipping.
Oh. Wow.
Right. So, and it just, that's how it works. And so like you can do progressive, like with hard goods. So say like I do $12 for your first item, and everything else after that's $3 or $1. And then I can refund you if the shipping goes over, but like, that's like a huge thing. Having that control over shipping is huge in the live selling space. That's one of the things that, has been a problem with Whatnot, obviously, when you get into those sort of hard goods and stuff like that, because it makes it more difficult for people to buy, because a lot of times people who are buying in live selling, they're buying as resellers, right? Mm-hmm. I'd say right now, conservatively, and this is across all live selling platforms, I'd say you're looking at about 70% resellers, 30% collectors. Wow. Right? That'd be my guess. So, as a reseller, you have to calculate all that shipping into what you're buying as your buy cost. Right. So it becomes a lot more beneficial to resellers when they don't have to worry about shipping as much, obviously.
What's your presence over there? Is it over the years?
What
do you have a name or a space over there at Dibdit?
So I am on Dibdit, I'm an admin. Okay. So, and then Dibdit Cards, I'm an owner.
Oh, okay.
So it's two separate platforms currently right now under the District umbrella. But that was one of the other things too. We were Resale Information Network was one of the first to have a district. Before Knickknacks, before Vamp, before Dibdit, there was Resale Information Network. Once again, we're taking a leap of faith, right? But we were the first ones, and I loved it. I thought it was a different, completely. The only thing that's similar about Whatnot and District, we'll just say District, because there are I'm a member of all these other districts, right? Like Crazy Lamp Lady Knickknacks is an amazing marketplace community. Same thing with Dibdit and some of these other marketplaces, right? But it is a different breed because it's like eBay, Whatnot, and Discord mixed together. So it's more community oriented, So whereas Whatnot has become the Wild Wild West, right? And it's everybody fighting against everybody, basically. I mean, I know that there is some communities within Whatnot. Paul Philly Flipper is a buddy of mine, and I've seen him. He'll tell you. He's like, anytime anybody asks him how he got on Whatnot, he'll tell you because of me, right? And I've seen him grow and turn it into a successful business. It can be done, obviously, but it's tough at this stage because of how big it is, and it's not a lot of. You can build a community, but there's no home for that community on Whatnot. Whereas on District, there is a home for it. You have an entire chat rooms for different things that is all based upon the members of that marketplace. You also have live selling. You have static auctions. You have, buy it nows, marketplace, all of that stuff. The fees are a little bit less depending on the marketplace. Every marketplace sets their own fees. One of the best things about District as opposed to eBay is when you sell something on eBay, you pay a fee with the cost of the item and shipping. On district, you only pay a fee on the item amount. You don't pay a fee on the shipping. And like, so like, you know, people like me who are nickel and diamond, you know, are my way through life. Every penny counts. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so like live selling has become a huge part of my business. And it's just, you have to take what is available to you too, right? Like I was crushing it in the world of glass, you know, but like it has gotten a lot more difficult to source glass and stuff like that, you know.
What do you think that is, Tim? That it's more difficult now?
I think there's a lot. I think it's become popular, and like I was, so like with uranium and Vaseline glass. For those of you that don't know, the glass that glows, right? I was early on to that, and I had maybe like, I don't know, 2,000 pieces like in the basement, like just hoarding it, because I saw it as a bridge between people who collected antiques, older people, and people who, you know, had that sort of like art value style of stuff. And I saw that as a bridge to the next generation, right? Because it was something that was cool. Like it wasn't just collectible, it was cool, right? It wasn't just valuable, it was cool. It wasn't just, you know, in my mom's china cabinet. Now it's like at bars. Now it's like, you know, a cool thing. So that's what I thought I was going to happen, and I got very lucky because I was buying it on pennies on the dollar at the time, because people were like, "Oh, nobody buys glass. Nobody's selling glass." And I was just like absolutely hoarding it. And so like I made a killing on that. I've probably sold close to like 3,000 pieces of glass, like easily. So like, and I used to do before Whatnot, all that I was doing live selling on YouTube.
Yep.
Like
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yo, it was that was crazy. Like those were the crazy.
You got a question in chat, or actually maybe even a statement, Tim, if you want to look at this one.
The online auction challenge is finding a lot of quality inventory at a good price. You have to be able to string together show after show. Exactly, 1,000%. Like it's interesting because reselling is all about the buy, right? It's all about the buy. That's what it comes down to. You make your money in the buy, and with live selling, like you have to be buying, and there's multiple different ways you could do it. If you're buying in bulk, you know, like that helps. If you're shopping the bins, that helps. Otherwise, you just have to find the bargains, and it's tough to do. I got burnt out doing the glass, live selling glass, because the shipping. Yeah, so like shipping like 40 pieces of glass, like was like just started getting brutal. And so like then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna focus on like smalls. Paperweights got super popular. Like I would do that for a while. But Jimmy's right. Like it's tough to consistently be able to go. That's why it's easier with cards, because I go to a card show on the weekend. I can buy 200 cards like it's nothing, and I could sell those 200 cards in 5 days. Max.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, because you just mentioned you had Rob on. I think it was Rob, right? The Boston card picker.
Yeah,
card
Nick, the Boston card hunter.
Nick,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So you just had him on, and he mentioned something on that podcast about having his cards signed in a way to increase revenue. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so
idea.
He does what's called, there's an acronym for it, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's basically autographed through the mail, TTM. So, you know, you can send stuff through the mail to athletes, and in his case, he even showed where he had a Garbage Pail Kid signed by George Costanza. What's his real name, though? Is that his real name?
No, that's not his real name. That's his character name.
I was going to know, but I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
We're just going to say with Costanza for now, right?
Yeah.
So he sent in a card to him and got it signed, right? And then got it graded. So, like, that's like a really unique thing to do. Now, obviously, like, you know, you could never get it back, or, you know, it might take months.
Yeah, there's risk and reward, but those and everything, right?
Yeah, so like it's kind of a really Jason Alexander. Good job, Robert.
All right, Robert.
I was never gonna get that, but as soon as you said it, I knew it. You know, but I wasn't gonna remember. But yeah, so like that's a really cool way of doing it too. You know, like that's the thing that's cool about reselling. I mean, like, there's so many different ways to do it, right? And like,
that's thinking outside the box right there, because
it
doesn't have to be sports, really. It could be pretty much any card. You take a Pokemon and have a voice actor sign
markets
something.
Markets go crazy too, right? Like hats, right? During COVID, the hat market was crazy. Like I was selling hats, like trucker hats, 3 stripes,
puzzles,
hundreds of dollars. Puzzles. Oh my God. There's a crazy puzzle. Jimmy found some crazy puzzles. The Liberty puzzles that do like insane money or something like that, like hundreds of dollars. So for me, like, that's the weird stuff too, is that like I don't know plush at all, right? I don't know plush at all. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's all I sell.
Like, I don't know plush at all, right? But like, I've sold some good plush, like some Pokemon stuff, vintage, a lot of vintage stuff. Like, I don't know if you even consider that sort of stuff plush, but like, Stife, stuff like that, like the German.
Yeah,
sure. And like, but like, I see that stuff all the time, and I'm just like, man, it is such an intriguing world, right? And then I'm like, so my mind immediately goes, okay, like, at what point do I buy plush? Do I wash it? Do I sell it like stained? Do I have to put it? Can I put it in a poly bag? Like, I feel weird. Like, I don't put anything in a poly. The only thing I put in a poly bag is a t-shirts, right? Like, I can't put anything else in a poly bag. I just, like, it's the glass in me, right? So I'm like, do I bubble wrap the plush and then put it in a box? Like, I don't really. I start thinking about all that, like, and then like I'll go and I'll see like a 40-foot plush, and I'm just like, man, I bet you this thing will sell for money. And then I'm like, but how the hell am I going to ship this shit? Like, obviously not 40 foot, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I see some big plushes, like at the store before, like display plushes, like. It
just depends on what it is. If it's
that's the thing.
Plus, you can suck it all in.
How do you get into like I wish I could just have a starting point. It's like five things to know about plush, right?
There's your next video, Bob.
And then like
maybe I will do one.
There you go.
Kind of go down, like start with that, like your starting point, right? Because like people always ask me when it comes to glass, like what makes glass valuable? And I think I'm like, what is the easiest way for me to help? Because that's what I do, right? My main theme when it comes to content is entertainment and education. That's all I care about, right? Mm-hmm. So like for me, people are always like, like I would give away secrets all the time. Secrets or whatever, right? Like, but like I all the time, like, because there's so much stuff out there, so much junk, and there's so many different places, and there's so much time where it's like, does it really, are we really, there's never a competition, right? Like I go picking with people all the time, like when we go on these big road trips, right? And it'd be like 10 of us, 15 of us sometimes, some of the best pickers in the game. Like I've been out with Cincinnati Picker and Kevin Commonwealth Picker and Jimmy, Carrie and Dawn, like all in one place at one time. And people are like, I don't know how you do it. Like the commenters are like, there's got to be crazy. Like all these YouTubers, but like everybody does things different. Right?
And I bet everybody comes away well off.
Everybody comes away well off. And you know what? The one thing everybody comes away with? Something new.
Knowledge.
They learn something new.
Yep.
Right? Every single time I go picking with other people, I learn something new. Right? And like, for me, that's the most exciting part of it. And it's just like, I'm like a little kid when I go picking with other people. Not because like I'm starstruck, but because like I'm so like just locked in, like, the littlest things, like I want to see how people, negotiate, what people go to first when they get out the car, right? How, and in content creation too, like when I've been picking with Kevin, I don't know, we meet up at least once or twice a year now for 5 or 6 years now. Wow. And like, I'm always watching him work with the camera, right? Because he's so good at it. And it's so difficult to create content and pick like good all the time. because
always say
sometimes
that
you get into a pick, right, and
Yeah.
you're in the crawl space, and like before I used to wear my camera on my backpack, and I got a beard, right. I was just looking at some footage from 2021, and like literally it's just like you just see like strands of hair like all in the lens, right, and it's just like I can't, like you can't even see what I'm picking up because all you see is my beard. So like now I wear my camera on a necklace on my chest, right? But like little things like that you learn, you know? So it's like, and that's the exciting part. Like, I don't know, that's what kind of makes me like, it never gets old because like I'm always learning, right? Always learning. And there's so many different niches and names. And like sometimes it's like it's the little things that you don't know that once you learn it and then like you're out picking and you're like, oh, I'm about ready to score big right now because I got another secret
That's
weapon
an
on my
adrenaline
belt.
rush.
Yeah.
Adrenaline rush for sure. Do you think that reselling speaks to your ADHD?
Oh, 1,000%.
Right?
1,000%. Yeah. So like, and also the like one of the things too with like sobriety is I constantly doing something. Like I have to constantly be doing something, right? And so like full-time reselling is constantly doing something, especially when you're content creating, right? Like you're listing, you're shipping, you're going to the post office, you're sourcing, you know? And so like, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm with my family, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it helps with that sort of like no downtime because like, when you have like the mental issues that I do and you know the addictive personality, obviously, like if the worst thing is like me sitting in a chair like this and then just like I go down, I'll just black out because I'll be like all worried about 50 million different things that I can't control, right? So it's just like it definitely helps, and I mean obviously sometimes it hurts. It doesn't hurt, but it makes things a little bit more difficult at times. You know, obviously, but like that's something about you learn how to kind of like work with it. You know, like sometimes you got to be careful with your phone because like, you know, I get like, this is no exaggeration. I probably get 20,000 notifications a day on my phone.
I feel honored that you responded to me.
so
I can't keep up with 100, let alone thousands.
Yeah, so like it's I mean like my Gmail icon right now says 106,930. My text message says 1,731.
You have all the little red bubbles on your phone?
Oh my, yeah, I am a red bubble. I'm a walking
I speak
red
from
bubble.
experience. I have ADHD. So what you were talking about with just having all of the different things and like a yearning for knowledge really speaks to my ADHD. That's why I ask, because I can definitely relate. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
If you're bored of one side of it, you can run to another side of it, and so definitely it's
except for you can't really run away from shipping.
yeah.
With success, there's the burden of the blessing, right? So you have a great show.
So like right now, where I'm living, we're living at our in-laws' house. We've rented out our own house, but I have my shed still on the property, which has my so I keep like all my smalls, my cards and jewelry and stuff in my office at my in-laws' house, and all my hard goods at our old property, which is I live in DC, so sometimes it takes you 20 minutes, sometimes it takes you an hour and a half. Okay. So to get 5 miles, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the worst. I've been in a lot of places. California is pretty bad, but it's a different type of traffic. That's like highway traffic, right? Like this is like congested city traffic, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say my brother lives in Virginia and right outside, so absolutely, yeah.
I had to drive over there today and pack, and it's like I had to pack a Macintosh, the original.
You sold
computer.
it?
Yeah, I sold it.
Nice.
I sold it in like 4 days.
Woohoo, let's go. That thing was nice.
$240. So that was $20 or $240. But like that was like, it's not fun. It's not fun. Like then like I'm a weird guy with boxes too, right? Like, and I'm sure that has to do with all my mental stuff. So like I thought I had a box, right? And I put it in there. I had the keyboard and the mouse taped together after being bubble wrapped. And I put it on top of the computer and I put it in the box. And I'm like, okay, I got another box that's the same size as this box. I'm just going to put it over top of that box and then fold it over, right? And the box was like 2 inches smaller than the other box. And I'm just like, oh, this is a good one. So now I'm like panicking and I'm like sweating and I'm like going through all my broken down boxes and I finally find one and I'm just like, you know, tape everywhere and all the corners and everything like that. And I finally got it. And now I'm like, I got to print the label tomorrow morning. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, I think I got it to a good size where it's not going to break my back, you know, for how much I charge shipping. Because I do flat rate shipping.
Oh, okay.
So I charge $50 flat rate shipping for that.
How'd you do, Tim? Did you?
I don't know yet. I gotta find out tomorrow morning.
Oh, you're saying yes.
I gotta print. I'm gonna print the label in the morning, but I think it's going to Atlanta, so it's not that bad,
good. Yeah,
right? Good. So like most likely it'll go. It's probably right on that line between UPS and Ground Advantage, but most likely I think it'll probably go UPS.
Yeah, you should be good. Coast to coast, you should be fine. Like on the East Coast, you should be okay.
I mean, but listen, we're about ready. Things are about to get crazy here in 13 days when they get in that surcharge, the fuel surcharge to USPS.
It's gonna hurt a lot of resellers, man. It really is. You know, they've done so many upcharges recently, and it's been slow for us for April. I don't know how things have been for most other people. But
listen, this is my thing is I never look at things as slow or not.
Drop
right?
some wisdom on us, Tim.
Never. I never ever think about it like that, right? Because that's why like I do all the things that I do, right? So I get a little bit of money from content creation, right? I'm not making a lot of money, but when I'm on my game, I can make like $500 a month in content creation, right?
Ooh. Damn.
And then, but like I live sell, I do live selling is like, you know, this is the other thing too. Like I do Uber Eats too. So like when I go to the post office, I turn on my Uber Eats because I'm like, I'm going to the post office, right? So then I get like a $20 delivery, you know, okay. That's a quick little $20. I'm already on the road going to the post office. You know what I'm saying? So like, but like the thing really is I just, as long as there's more money, it's just like, it's like losing weight. Right? People always want to do all this crazy stuff. It's very simple. You burn more calories than you intake and you're going to be okay. That's the way I look at it, right? So like as long as
move your ass is basically what I'm saying.
as long as more money comes in the day than I spend on the day, then I'm okay, right? Like it could be worse. You know what I'm saying? Like so for me, and then like summer slowdown, like I hear that a lot too, right? Like I don't believe in summer slowdown, right? Like that's a hogwash. This is the thing. It's not like we could sit here and make excuses all day long, right? And blame other people, right? I never do that. I never blame eBay. It's never eBay's fault. If something is not going right, it's my fault, right? Like I take full accountability for something not selling, right? Because I didn't list it. It's not eBay's fault they didn't list it. It's not the people who are buying stuff. They can't buy it if it's not listed, right? Right? Like you know what I'm saying?
Funny how that works when you list stuff sells.
Yeah,
it's really funny how that works.
For me, it's just it's you gotta, and I struggle with it a lot too. You know, just because my biggest thing I'm always trying to figure out like my time management. Like I struggle with that a lot. So I think that's something that I'm constantly trying to try new things and new methods, and things work. And it's like, but I never get comfortable. That's the other thing too, is like people get comfortable. They think like, so when things are moving, everything's going good and they're cha-ching, 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 right? And then one day you wake up and you're like, is my internet not working? Like there's a new eBay glitch, isn't there? Right? You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's just
I see a lot of that content.
It's just there's you get what you put in. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, but my stuff isn't. I'm listing every day, but it's not selling. Well, then you're selling junk. source better.
I mean,
People
we've
hate
had a
hearing
lot
that.
of people. Yeah, we've had a lot of people on the podcast that have said the same thing, Tim. So you're not.
Mhm.
You're
You
not
got to
completely
source
off
better.
base.
Take better pictures.
Yeah.
Change your listings. Change your titles. Switch up your promoted listings. Run a sale. Like delist, relist. Like there's so many different ways to kind of just like do something different. A lot of times people are just like, they think, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to list it, and I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to get rich. Right? But that's
Yeah,
not how it
Think from the
works.
truth.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but it's easy to when things are going well to think that that's what's happening, right?
Hmm.
And then, but it's when things aren't going well that you kind of got to look in the mirror and be like, okay, what do I need to change to make things work better, right?
Yeah, that's great
Like,
advice, Tim.
like that's what it is. It comes down to just you got to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, talk yourself up. You know, like what am I doing wrong? You know, like, and then sometimes it's like people fall in love with their inventory too. Like for me, I am a burn and turn type of guy. So like some people will buy something and they'll be like, okay, like it's a $5, and I'm just other thing too. I'm cheap. I'm cheap. They will.
Same.
You can ask
I
anybody.
identify with this.
You could ask anybody that goes picking with me that they're like, I'm very, very cheap. Like it is a struggle for me to spend more like double digits on an item, right?
I'm
Like
with
I'm a $1, $5 type of guy, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And so, and I'm also a negotiator, right? And like,
We're in good company.
so you know, like I'm not nasty. Like there are some people like I've seen content like of that are like they're nasty. Like they don't got that like. I mean, y'all live in the South, so you know how you gotta have a little bit of charm, hospitality. Like I'm a very like nice guy. Like I walk up to your yard sale, hey, how's it going? You know, like nice day. You know, talk. I'm a very talkative guy. I'm sure you guys have realized in the first 46 minutes and 59 seconds, right?
So, like,
Not at all, Tim. Tell us more.
So like
Okay.
you know, it's like you gotta be really good at buying stuff. I will not buy something that is $5 and sells for $15. I will not do it.
yeah,
Will
that's
not do
hard. Because what does a profit on that look like?
Exactly. And
Maybe
so then I'm like,
$5?
unless I'm thinking it's going to go on a live sale, that's the only way, right?
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
I'm only I'm only listing stuff unless it's small. So there's like a calculation, right? Like a size, sell through, cost, profit, right? Like those are the four things that kind of go into my mind when I'm buying something. How big is it, right? How big is it? Then that factors into how am I going to store it, how much space it's going to take up, how I'm going to ship it, right? Then it's like sell through rate. So if am I going to buy something that is going to take up space, I'm getting a good deal on it, but how long is it going to take to sell, right? Now, if it's something that's small and it has a little bit of a longer sell through rate, and I'm paying cheap, and it's not going to cost me a lot to ship it, then it's a little bit easier for me to buy it. But if it's something that's bigger, I need it to sell fast, right?
Right.
And if it's something that it doesn't have like at least, you know, 6 to 10x, then it has to sell fast. But like I'm like the guy who wants to buy something for $2 and sell it for $100 and sell it in a week. That's my mentality when I go pick.
That's a mindset. Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a different mindset. That's the quick nickel, slow dime
So
type of mindset that you
because
need to
there
have.
are things that are going to be slow sellers, right? But like I don't like if I find a
Plushes, by the way.
$500 vase, right?
Yeah.
And I'm paying it for $2, I don't mind because I know that it's going to take a particular buyer, but like I know that it's going to sell for $500, you know. But like also it's like if somebody sends me an offer for $350 and I've had it sitting on my shelf for 4 months, I'm going to take the offer.
Right.
On a
yeah,
$2,
that's
absolutely, yeah.
All day.
Yeah, I'll take that any day.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that's kind of
Absolutely.
where
So
I'm
what's
at
your
with that.
favorite way to source? Like do you have bins, garage sales? Where we
So there's
at?
no bins where I live. No
Oh,
bins.
bummer.
I've only been
Same,
to
Tim. Same.
yeah, I've been to the bins maybe twice. I went to the bins. My wife and I, we thought they were bins. It was like they were like 6 foot boxes.
Mhm.
It was crazy because like you kind of like just sit your stomach on it and you kind of like teeter on the edge of the box. And some people just cut holes in the bottom of the box and put their hands in it. So I did that once. And then I went to the bins with Jimmy. I've been in the bins with Jimmy twice in Ohio.
Nice.
But that's it. So for me, I love auctions, right? In-person auctions, but like I don't get to do them as much, and they can be very difficult at times because you need like this perfect storm for it to work well for you. But flea markets are my jam. Obviously, I love yard sales, but like highway sales and flea markets are my top two things. Estate sales, I used to do a lot of estate sales, but now it's gotten like, especially in this area, it's like so high sedity, and it's just like, unless I see like an estate sale and it's like ran by a person and it looks like it was out of orders, then I'm first person in line. Right?
Yeah, you're not getting those $1 to $5 prices anymore at these estate sales.
Absolutely not. But no, like highway sales are super important for me. So I do a few a year, and I will be first person out the door, last person back at the Airbnb. Right? I pick like original like hardcore like in the car picking in the middle of nowhere, like that is like me, like, and I will talk to somebody and I will end up in somebody's basement and I will end up with trash bags of clothes coming out. Right. Wow. Like I like that sort of picking is like my jam. And then like flea markets, I love too, just because the flea markets, you get a nice, it's also about volume for me. Like I need the volume, right? Like I hate community sales. Community sales are the worst for me. I hate community sales, but it depends. It's like, what kind of community sales are we talking about? Like, are we talking about like a neighborhood where houses, or are we talking about like, soccer moms putting their home goods stuff out at every house? I hate those.
They all have the same Martha Stewart pants set.
Yeah.
No.
That's where we're finding the toys, though. Bob, you don't do.
Yeah.
But
That's a good point
so
too.
I'm going to look for those plush.
But like the flea markets for me is you get volume and you get variety, right? Like you get the people who like are collectors. You get the people who are set up because they're cleaning out their house. You get the people who do clean outs and like just put everything in banana boxes and they're like $1, $2, right?
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So like for me, like that's it. And like I get up at 5 and I'll be out there with the flashlight. You know what I'm saying? And 20 degrees, it don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I like to pick. So like that's it. Like that's my like stuff. Thrift stores are very, very far and few between now. I used to do a lot of thrifting, but now it's just like I go into the thrift store and I'm just like, I get like 5 minutes in, and if I don't find something, I'm like, am I really about ready to sit here and go through the clothing rack? Like, I can't do it. Like I'll do a field test, right? Like especially with like crew necks, I can tell just by touching it if it's vintage or not, right? Like, so like I can just kind of browse and be like, oh, that's definitely a champion, and then pull it off the rack. You know what I'm saying?
Dang.
Reverse
Is it more
weave,
stiff?
right?
Is it because they're more stiff? Or
yeah, the material is just a different feel.
I'm thinking like, dang.
Yeah, you could definitely feel vintage. Like I always tell people, and they laugh at me, like it's all about your senses.
But
like,
there's a sensory thing with ADHD too, so I
can smell old. I love the old smell. Right,
all the senses. Wow.
I'm like, if I walk up to a yard sale and I could just smell like moldy magazines, I'm like, there is definitely gold here.
Treasure to be had here. Speaking of treasures, you just had a kid, right?
Yep.
So what a treasure that is.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us how that's impacted your reselling journey and what's that like for you? Talk about your baby if you'd like to. I mean, you're a papa.
It's been obviously fantastic, that whole aspect of it, but it's tough. Mm-hmm. It's 1,000. Like the beginning is very difficult too, because you're not sleeping, and like I don't get paid leave, and so like it's tough because like you want to be able to contribute to the household. and financially. So finding out how, but like it's also important to be there through every step of the way. So like it's a learning curve, and we're 1 year in, and like the other thing too is crazy is like, so my boy is he's not average. He is off the charts. And I didn't know that that was a thing until the doctor said it. I was like, what do you mean he's off the charts? He turns around his laptop and he's like, you see this is like the average, and you see that dot all the way up there? That's your boy. So he is just turned 1 in March, and at 1 he was 30 pounds and 32 inches tall. So
Wow.
he
That
is
above average.
Yeah.
I know, because I am that person.
So he is
above average.
and he's walking now, and so like the schedule changes throughout the beginning. Like because when you get home from the hospital to now, it's like so the amount that he sleeps and you sleep and everything like that. It's a challenge, but I am absolutely 1,000% blessed and fortunate. My wife is an absolute rock star. She is, and I'm not just saying that obviously because she's my wife. Like I thank God every day that I am fortunate enough to, be in love and married to and have a child with this woman, because she is that amazing. So I'm lucky, right? Because and we have a great family. So my wife is half Dominican and half Ghanaian. So those two cultures are very family-oriented cultures. So the amount of help that we've had throughout this process from the families has been tremendous. And my younger sister, she's got 3 kids. So like, she's been helpful. And my brother-in-law and his wife, they have a kid too. So like, we got very lucky to have the tribe that we have, and I thank God every day for that. There are times obviously where my wife wants to kill me, and I rightfully so. So like
I don't know what you mean by that.
but I
Looked over his shoulder.
It's a level of communication, and you kind of learn how to do certain things. Like I get up and as soon as the boy gets up, I get up and I get the milk ready, and I try to make my wife a cup of coffee, and then she'll be with the kid, and then I'll work. And then if she has a meeting, because she works from home 4 of the 5 days, so if she has a meeting and she needs me to watch the kid, I'll watch the kid. If she needs to go out and do something, we work it out, and like obviously it changes as time goes, because some days he's sleeping, taking 3 naps, and now he's taking 1 nap, right? And then now he's walking, so it's not like he's just sitting in the crib watching Miss Rachel, so it's like and thank God for Miss Rachel, right? Thank God.
Miss Rachel.
Seriously, if there is one, like, who deserves a Nobel Peace Prize? Miss Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm going to nominate. That is my nomination for the next Nobel Peace Prize, Miss Rachel.
Speaking of nominations, Tim, this is the time of the show that we do this thing where we call
I know, and I've
out.
been thinking about it for
I know,
like
Tim.
a
Now's
week.
your chance, Tim. Over the years of everything, who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller Podcast? Let's go.
So can I nominate like 5 people?
Ooh.
It's never happened. It'd be a first.
Okay, yeah, then I'm gonna do it if it's never happened. That's what I do.
Never
I do
happened, so.
everything that has ever happened once never happened before.
You got that right.
Okay, so because I got a list of people. There's a lot of people that I love and I think are beneficial, to this community. And so I will go ahead and nominate. I'm going to nominate. I don't know if any of these people have been on here. This is episode 15 or 16. 15. Okay.
15. Yeah.
Well, okay. Death Pile Picker Mike, right? Because
I've
he
met
is
Mike
one of
a
the
few
more
times.
underrated resellers out there. He does, and he's getting better at it. And I think that that's what's important, because you said something in the very beginning of this episode about how, always trying to help people who are getting into this, and that's always been something that
That is true. That's
I've
the
been
point
doing
of this.
too, right? And so like I kind of want to nominate like 5 different people because I feel like, you know, if you at one point one of these people decides to accept this challenge, you know, they will be able to provide a different level of experience and a different, you know, level of what they've gone through. And I think Mike is a very underrated guy, and he's a funny guy, and he's got the Georgian Southern charm too, so he'll fit right in with
he's
you
got
guys.
it
So
down
we'll
to a
nominate
fact.
we'll nominate Def Pile Picker as one of them.
Kyle Picker, you're number 1 on the list. Let's go.
He's number 1, yes. Keith was in here, Vintage Sport Flips. I think
He's awesome. Buy It All podcast. Yep.
with no S, just so he knows if he hears me. Keith is, I've met Keith. We've hung out a bunch before. I actually met him at National in Atlantic City, and I was buying some hats from him. National is the biggest sports card show in the world. And he's like, I know you from somewhere. And he recognized me from a Kevin the Commonwealth Picker video. And me and him just clicked ever since then, and we've been really close since then. But Keith is a really interesting guy because he works a full-time job, but he is like a full-time reseller at the same time. So I think that's a very nice, like, you know, another different aspect of reselling, right?
Yeah.
And he does a lot of different stuff, but he also has an antique booth. He goes to the flea markets. He sells at flea markets. Like, he does sports stuff. Like, he does, like, his knowledge is crazy when it comes to like antique sports stuff. So I love Keith. Keith's another one too. And speaking of Kevin the Commonwealth Picker, he says he's not. Yeah, Keith's number 2. Kevin the Commonwealth Picker, because he said he's not doing any more podcasts, but I think he'd be great because obviously he is one of the nicest, genuine, down to earth people in the world.
So fun fact, we got a chance to meet him.
Yeah, we did meet him at the
Yeah.
last Nashville reseller meetup.
So
was a
he is.
gentleman, for sure.
He, like, for me, like, that's one of the big things I love about content creation is when people meet me and they're like, oh, this guy is literally the same crazy guy I see on the
Yes.
TV and the computer, right? So like Kevin is that. Like, he is so genuine, but he is so knowledgeable, and like I love just the picking of the brain. Me and him, when we get together, like picking each other's brains is kind of crazy. Up next, I'm going to nominate for that was number 3. So number 4 is going to be Rod picking and punching, because Rod, like myself, does normal picking and sports stuff too, right? And obviously we're on the podcast together, but like Rod, his approach is always different, right? But Rod is one of the best.
A lot of energy in Rod. There's a lot of energy there.
Rod is one of the best encouragers in the industry. Rod will call me up 2-3 times a day. Tim, I think you should do this, right? Like he pushes me in the right direction all the time, right? And so for me, like, that's something you need in the world of reselling. You need to have a Rod in your team, right?
Rod's number 4 on the
Rod's
list.
number 4, and number 5 is going to be the arbitrages. Okay, Carrie and Don. If you can get them both on at the same time, that'd be awesome. So Don is one of the best pickers in the world, and me and her, when we get together, it is like we will. Don is the type who will get in the crawl space with you, right? And Don is not afraid to ship anything, like myself, right? And so like I think Carrie and Don, I've spent weeks at a time on the road with them. And once again, down to earth, like humble, knowledgeable, like just great overall people. And they're doing their thrifting across America right now. So I think like that's a good thing to kind of talk about, because they're experiencing what it's like to source in different places across the entire country, and it's challenging. And I think that's a good sort of topic for resellers, whether you're new or
Number
experienced.
5, the arbitrage.
So that's my 5. I'm the first one. I did 5. So
You
are
were
the
the
first one.
I love it. All great resellers, all great people.
Absolutely.
I'm a fan and a consumer of all those, YouTuber content reselling. A lot of, like you, a lot of time spent creating and curating my knowledge set so I could be more effective. I think that's the most important part of, one of the most important things that you said. You dropped a lot of wisdom in this podcast for sure that are going to help a lot of people. Tim, I don't know if you realize what impact that is.
You said it before we went live about the transparency thing. And like, if you go, I haven't put out a video in a while, but if you go and you look at the like pinned video on my main YouTube page, it's me talking about coming back because I'd go through these phases. I had a hiatus, you know what I'm saying? And it talks about me coming back and about what it's like battling the things that I battle on a day-to-day basis and still being a content creator and reseller. And I did that not because I thought it was going to get 1 million clicks. I did that because I know that there's people out there that are like me. And, sometimes I had a lot of people message me too. And they're like, it makes me feel like I'm not alone anymore. Right. And so like that to me is like, I had somebody come up to me this weekend at the card show, and they're like, because of you, I was able to do this, right? And then they put a message on Instagram afterwards, and they were like, I didn't know that they were going to do that. And they tagged me, and they said, I got to meet Tim, and he is straight up down to earth, one of the nicest guys, that sort of stuff. And it's like, that's what it's about for me. And, there's so much drama that can happen in this community, and I've seen it throughout the last 7-8 years, right, firsthand. But there's so much love, and there's so much authenticity, and there's so many genuine people that do this obviously to provide for our families, and we do it because it makes it a lot easier to do this job than some of the other jobs because of what we deal with personally. And that should be highlighted more so than anything else. And I think that, you guys do a great job of that. And I think that because of that, you guys will be successful together and individually because of your authenticity. And that's something that I learned early on creating content. It was like, I don't need to be anybody else. I don't need to be better than anybody else. I need to be me, and I need to be the best version of me. And if I do those two things, I will succeed both as a content creator and as a reseller. So,
Reach.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we talk a lot about that on this podcast, about persona and how that's exhausting. Don't do that to yourself. If you want to be a content creator, you have a unique perspective just in who you are. We all come at it differently. Tim spoke to it in this podcast, how his unique perspective built over time and how now that's affecting his reselling business overall through YouTube and other adventures. So
before we go, I want to thank Jimmy because
Jimmy is a man.
Yes, Jimmy comes out.
If it wasn't for Jimmy, I would have probably taken me a little longer to stumble across this wonderful podcast and these amazing people. And Jimmy and his wife are two of the nicest people in the entire world. And when I get to go spend time with them is one of my favorite times of the year. And I just want to thank Jimmy because Jimmy's one of the good guys out here in this industry too. And he doesn't get enough credit that he deserves. He is an amazing reseller, great content creator, but even better person. And shout out to Sonia too, his wife. So.
Yeah, Sonia is an absolute angel for dealing with Jimmy. I'm just
Well, imagine we just got to deal with Jimmy and me.
Oh, yeah. Y'all are troublemakers, I bet.
Double trouble.
Yeah.
So this is normally the time of the show where we ask questions. And there were a few during the podcast that came up. So I'm not sure if the individuals are still here, but we're going to pick a few select questions for you to answer, and we'll go from there. And if they have to see it in replay, hopefully they get to hear your response. So.
Yes, I do. Not as.
So we'll read the question because we're on Spotify.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
my bad, Spotifyers. I love you guys too.
Yeah,
okay?
Spotify.
Shout out to the Spotifyers. Okay, this is coming from Zelda Bot. Oh, Zelda. This is always my favorite part. Zelda Bot with love. It's like trying to figure out a customized license plate at a red light and figuring out.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So they asked, do any of you ever find trading cards when hunting? So I do occasionally. A lot of times it's it's not worth buying, because a lot of times people think that they have $1 million in sports cards when they have like $5. But there are occasions that you like strike gold. We were in Tennessee in the middle of nowhere. Like, I mean, middle of nowhere. And this is a very nice elderly lady. She sets up every year on 127, but it's like off the beaten path. Like, it's not like on the 127. I want to say her name was like Grand Honey or Honey Grand or something like that. I can't remember.
Southern.
But anyways, we were there, and we were in a shed, and she had a Ziploc bags, and it was like single cards, like 1950s baseball cards. So I bought like one or two, and then Carrie came in, and he bought like one. And so we're walking back to the cars, and this is like Jimmy actually filmed this encounter. And so we're walking back to the cars, and the lady yells, this is probably 4 years ago. She yells, hey, do you guys want to see some more sports cards? And me and Carrie look at each other, and we're like, sure. And she brings out a shoebox. I mean, Hank Aaron's, Willie Mays, Johnny Unitas, Sonny Jurgensen, like all types of stuff. And so we just split it between me and Carrie, did like a little draft, and we just, instead of like, once again, just goes to show you can pick with other people. So we just kind of split it, and yeah, we made out pretty good.
Yeah,
we made out pretty good on that one. But that's like, one of those stories that just doesn't happen all the time. But yeah, and then what's the other thing too is you just always ask. That's the biggest thing when you're at yard sales. Always ask. There's nothing that can be harmful. Just don't be like weird about it when you ask. Just ask like in a fun, nice way.
In a general way that you would normally.
Yeah, hey, you got any? Don't be like, hey, you got any 1952 Mickey Mantles in your attic? Like, don't be one of those people. Just be like, hey, you wouldn't happen to have any sports cards laying around you're trying to get rid of?
That
right?
brings up a good point. Do you have a card where you hand out when you're picking? Like,
no,
hey,
I don't.
I'm a collector, and if you got more stuff, nothing like that.
I don't. I thought I used to. I thought about it, and I think maybe we will revisit that at some point, but I don't source out as much as I used to, which is why the highway sales are so important to me, because I kind of load up for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's a good approach for sure. When you don't have a lot of time, you can make a big impact on one of those for sure, picking up along the way.
Oh, I will fill my trunk, my car, my seats, everywhere.
That is
See,
awesome.
my problem with the trading cards is I don't know what I'm looking for. So I picked up I think I paid like $70 for a bunch of Pokemon cards. And as I started to learn more about them, there were like some Japanese cards, a lot of hollows, just tons of basics.
Yeah.
Even with Pokemon cards, I really don't know what I'm looking at.
I know nothing about Pokemon. That's one thing I don't know.
I don't know anything about any.
So don't feel bad about that.
I consume a lot of Pokemon content, and I still don't know. I'm learning. But I'm very interested in it.
I know Charizard if I see that.
Yeah, right. Get that sucker, yeah.
Yeah, my dad. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, my dad did a whole bunch of he got into baseball cards, he got into football. It was like certain teams. And my dad was one of the guys when he first, I would say back in the day on eBay, he was buying the stuff, and now we're talking 90s. So that most of the stuff that came out in the 90s, it's not really worth much. And that's what he was loading up on. And he had, you name it. I still have starting lineups. I have uncut cards. I have different, a lot of it my brother took because he's the one that did all of it, but he had so much stuff, and a lot of it, the time period, it wasn't worth money. And we have, since his passing, it has went from, it's moved with him. So they moved from Hawaii, was his last resting place, back here, but it has traveled because he was military. It traveled with us. And so we've held on to it. And then I was fortunate enough, I had a friend who was like, yes, I love it. I don't care. So he took a lot of it. And I was like, yes, if you love it, take it. That's what he would want. But but some of the knowledge, but not enough that I'd be like, yeah, I'm picking that up. No.
The 90s stuff was hard. Yeah. So
yeah.
I
That's
just
awesome.
don't know enough. I pick them up when I think it's a good price, and then inevitably I sit on them because I'm never
like-
gonna go through this.
Do
So
them
I
again?
have
Well, I
Yu-Gi-Oh
will tell
cards,
you,
Pokemon cards, sport cards, like old
E-
Jurassic Park cards.
Garbage pail
eBay
kids,
has
all
eBay
stuff.
has the scanner built into the app now. If that will help you maybe a little bit, you can just if you're feeling a little ADD-ish,
Yeah, right.
you can just sit down and
Hyper focus into that. Oh Lord.
Boom. That'd be
It really
another
has to be a
rabbit hole to go down.
Yeah.
It's one that I would like to go down, but I have to really make my brain just has to be in the right spot because otherwise I feel like I dread it.
No, trust me.
So-
I've done that with jewelry before, and it's like because like I want to pick out like the costume jewelry that has markings and like I know the names and like or the stuff that's like marked by like has a marking, and then like I have a box that's like just stuff that doesn't have markings, and I'm just like I don't know, this is gonna take me forever. Can I just sell it all together as one lot?
Yeah, that's my thought process. I'm like, can somebody that knows come and like make me a decent offer? I don't know. I just want to get rid of it.
Well, you see it all the time. You see these content creators like, I found this silver at the store, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not even a jewelry reseller. What are we talking about here? You guys probably, I don't know.
Resellerness trying to.
I'm just like, what's going on? What is going on?
Oh, man.
But anyways, so Tim, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. I can't say enough. Thank you.
Thank
Jimmy
you,
Old
guys.
School Flips.
Absolutely.
We want to just shout you out again. If you're not following Jimmy Old School Flips over there, make sure you're following him on all the platforms. Make sure you're following Tim over the years on all the reselling podcasts that he does and also his personal content. Tim, remind us again where they can find you on Instagram and all the places.
Everybody pull out your pads and your pencils, okay?
Notes.
All right.
Well, there we go.
So on YouTube, I have Over the Years Sports, which is my sports card content. I have Over the Years Reselling, which is like my picking and reselling non-sports card related content. I have the No Bangers Sports Card Podcast with American Arbitrage cards and Rod Picking and Punching cards. Every Tuesday morning, we do a live reselling show called the Reseller Information Network. That is with myself, Eric OBX Picker, Leroy Blood, Sweat, and Sell, and Cernox Connection. And Jimmy pops on with us as well during that show because we're always all over the map. One of us might be in a car and one of us might be out on beach. You never know. But so I do that. And then during the football season, I have a football show called Awthentik and The Beard where we cover the NFC East. And on Instagram, you can find me Over the Years Sports, Over the Years Treasures, Over the Years Reselling. You can also find, I also manage the Dibbed It Cards page. And also, if you like food, Married with an Appetito on Instagram.
That's the one I'm definitely checking out.
And then Facebook is Over the Years Sports, Over the Years Reselling, and Married with an Appetite. And I'm on Twitter at Tim Walk on Water, the number 2. Because I had the original one and then I lost my password and I couldn't get that account, so I had to make it with the number 2. And on TikTok, Over the Years and Over the Years Sports, and I think that's everything.
That's awesome, man. I love it.
How do you keep up? That's crazy.
I don't. I try. I pretend.
Oh man.
Appear social is what Tim is all about. We appreciate you coming on the podcast again. Yeah, I want to remind you guys, if you can't be good at it. We'll get you on the next one. Tim, stick around. I got a couple questions for you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.